Ahoy there, Captain Benzie here, coming at you with another video for EVE Echoes. Yes, today I am going to be going over the Echoes Bowl Q&A answers 1 through 4, what the questions were, what the answers were, and what that means overall. Now, as I have some people who always complain at these videos and say, oh my goodness, you dragged this out so that you could actually make content. Yeah, that's what I do. If you want to read the Echoes Q&A and just get what they were, go to Twitter, get it yourself. If you're here to get an actual analysis and some thoughts, happy days. Let's sit down and talk about it. Before we jump in though, of course, as usual, if you enjoy this content, let me know by hitting a like on it. Consider subscribing to the channel for all things mobile gaming and especially EVE Echoes. And of course, let me know what topics you'd like to see me cover in future videos, either in the comments section below or by coming and joining us on social media, including the awesome Cat Skull Cartel Discord. Even if you're not intending to join my corporation at the launch of Echoes, you are still welcome to come and chat all things EVE Echoes. That said and done, let's jump right in to having a look at this Q&A. So of course I am doing this all on my phone as usual, so I'm going to go through each of these one by one and just discuss what they say and what that means. So the first question, Silver Dragoon. One of the things that made EVE Online great was the story-driven universe over its lifetime, from the mysterious Jove, the Santra invasion, Sleepers and Triglavians, and countless player alliance achievements and battles that left memorials and relics throughout New Eden. Can we expect the same level of story crafting and engagement with EVE Echoes, while at the same time it being its own timeline and universe, possibly having its own unique situations? Yes, we will gradually introduce more gameplay and story into Echoes in the future. For now, we are more focusing on basic game mechanics like corps and alliances, sovereignty battles, etc. Now, first things first, we've had an update from the devs that this is an alternate timeline after the explosions of YC 116. So at the point of 116 in the game, that is where the universe is split. Anything that happens prior to 116 is canon lore in Echoes. Anything after 116 is not canon lore for Echoes, and we'll be making our own. Now, some of the cool things that it's referencing there that Silver Dragoon is mentioning, like player-based artifacts, are things like Steve. Steve was the first Titan ever built, and its wreck is still in EVE Echoes. You can actually go and visit the wreck of the first ever player-made Titan. There's also a graveyard for actual players who have died in the game, as like a memorial for people who have died outside of EVE Online, and a memorial has been placed to them and added to this big like graveyard. The name eludes me for the moment, and lots of other really cool player-driven stories like that all over the world of New Eden. And of course, we will have our own. Now, okay, we're not going to have our own Steve, but we'll have like maybe a Steven or a Bob. I don't know. The first ever Titan to be made and wrecked hopefully will keep as an artifact. Anyway, continuing on. Khan D. Rockefeller. What will the price for a monthly Omega subscription be? There are 2 Omegas, roughly $5 and $15 with different training speeds. Not finally decided yet, please leave your feedbacks. If you haven't already, go and watch my video on the monetization system as it's discussed in EVE Echoes. Details are on screen. Hopefully there should be a card in the top right now, or a link in the description below at the very least, which discusses what those actually are and how they're going to work. $5 and $15. $5 is the basic. $5 gets you absolutely everything unlocked. $15 just does that and gives you more skill points per minute. Oh, excuse me, hiccups. So yeah, $5 will unlock everything. $15 is the sort of unlock everything with a bit more skill points. Neptune, what will the maximum number limit for a corp, including all corp management skills has been maxed out. So 50 is the basic, 200 is the maximum. Now, we were talking about this on Sovereign's stream on Echoes Talk, which you should really check out. It was a lot of fun just to sit and chat all things EVE Echoes and what we know about the game, about what those limits mean. Of course, that is a lot smaller than they are in EVE Online. That has massive ramifications for corps and all things going on in EVE Echoes. The skill that goes from 150 members up to 200 takes a long time to train, so most corps at the moment are likely to actually stop at 150. 150 isn't too bad to hit. 200 is the absolute possible maximum. As I said, I'll put a link to Sovereign's video down below so you can check that one out as well. Echoes Bowl Q&A Part 2, Zentria Fugal. As an old-fashioned EVE Online player, I love the NPC standing system, grinding missions and climbing up the reputation ladders to get access to special items like BPCs, reduced taxes, or just to get better missions with higher loyalty points as a reward was something I really enjoyed. Will there be some kind of NPC standing system in EVE Echoes? Now here I actually really approve of the developer's answer. I love the honesty here. I'm sorry to say that we don't have NPC standings in our recent plan. The true reason behind this is currently we don't have enough NPC-related game content to support an NPC standing system. EVE Online has been developed and published for over 17 years, but EVE Echoes just born recently. We will gradually introduce more content, please give us more patience, thank you for your support. That's amazingly honest, and I love that they're being so open about that and just saying, look, it's something we'd love to add, but we're focused on other things at the moment that we view as more important, and simply put, we just don't have enough content yet to support that. Stand by with us, this game is going to be going for the long run, we will eventually add all these things later, which is really cool, and I can't wait to see what Echoes becomes. I said, Aneto, do apologise if I'm getting these wrong by the way, do grids work the same way as in EVE Online, or is there a different system in place? If you're talking about power grid, yes. Now, I have no idea what's being meant here. Like, genuinely, we know that the developers are Chinese. There is a language barrier coming on here. If you're lucky enough to have the opportunity to ask the developers a question, please word it logically and carefully. Word it so that there is no confusion. Are you talking about power grids? Are you talking about the actual navigation grid? What grids are we talking about here? Of those two, both seem to be working the exact same way, so I will take it as that way there. But it does beg the question, like we had a lot of confusion with the Yanzhong. Are the Yanzhong going to be a playable race? Ultimately, a lot of people seem to think they were. Then when people actually asked the developers bluntly, can you play them as characters, or is it just the ships and modules? They said, oh, it's just the ships and modules. You've got to understand that there is a different sort of, what's the word? Different translations. Even when we saw the word DLC being used in the stream, people lost their crap that, oh my god, they're putting DLC in the game. Yeah, DLC just means downloadable content. A patch is DLC. But here in the West, DLC has this negative connotation as something you have to pay for. In sort of China and the Eastern Asian continent, DLC just means downloadable content. Anyway, let's continue onwards with part 3. These are the ones that came out today. Sheldon. In the OBT, we don't loot all stuff from the PvP ship, like 50%. Are you going to increase the percent at release? I'm assuming this means that when you blow up a ship, how many items you actually loot from it. Obviously, if you kill a hurricane, for example, you expect to get more than one turret from it, simply because, like, you know, a hurricane can, what, 6, 8 turrets? What happens to all of those extra bits and pieces? Obviously, I assume they're just destroyed in the explosion. To me, I didn't mind this, the fact that you only get 1 or 2 pieces, and it says here, currently we don't have any plans to change it. I've got no issue with that. I think loot was loot. You know, you don't necessarily expect to have everything on a ship that you just blew up left intact. I kind of sometimes, controversial opinion alert, I sometimes feel that EVE Online gives you a bit too much. There are times when I've blown up someone's ship, like a Tyra or something, and I've gone, oh, look at all this juicy stuff that somehow survived the explosion. Okay. Zalmoxis, what is the planned monetization method for Echoes? Oh my goodness, really? You wasted a question asking the same thing as last week? No! No! Oh, if you've still got questions, go watch my video again, link is in the description. But it does say here, there is actually a bit more information that's been added to here, so I do laugh that, you know, oh my goodness, you asked the same question as before, but the devs do drop a nice little teaser here. A mega clone we know about, ship skins we know about, and other skill training boosters. Now this does mean that skill injectors look like they're going to be a thing. I sure as heck hope that those are going to be a thing that is still player driven, that you have to actually extract skill points from yourself to then sell on the market as skill injectors. That, to me, is a good way of doing it, so that you can't just pay to boost yourself all the way up. I mean, it's great to be able to pay to boost yourself up, but the overall skill points in the market sort of balances out that way. Someone loses skill points so that you can buy them off them. Is there a plan to implement a broadcasted esports tournament similar to the Alliance tournament? It would be great for the community to see top-tier gameplay with professional commentary. That's a good idea, but in current stage we're more focusing on basic functions. Hopefully we can have this in the future. Yes. I know we're all excited to ask big exciting questions of, are these amazingly niche things coming to the game? Obviously at this point in time almost everything is just, hey, it's basic functions. Rather than asking what's coming to the game, I feel we should be asking more a case of how is this coming to the game, because it's pretty certain that a lot of these things will be added. Now I know that I think Sovereign himself has mentioned that he would be looking to do some community PvP tournaments. I may be making that up completely and dropping him in it, but oh well, he can manage. Or OP Force or someone, Op Force, I think someone was talking about running community tournaments, which would be really cool, but come on, let the game launch before we start worrying about esports. I get the enthusiasm, and 100% I'll be behind that. I would be excited to see it. Vindicator 8, what do you want to tell people with your creation? Now, that's an interesting question. Now, we want to have more people to try and join EVE Experience. EVE Echoes are easier to access. Hopefully, by doing so, we can have more people enjoy EVE on different platforms. That would be awesome. I think, ultimately, that's one of the really cool things. Like, playing Dead by Daylight Mobile, I've seen a lot of people go, oh, okay, so Dead by Daylight is like a $40 game on PS4, $30 on Steam. I don't know if I'd like it. They download it on mobile, they try it for free, and go, oh, this is really cool, and then they download it on PC or console or whatever and go on from there. So it's nice to see that they do actually intend for there to be crossover. This isn't just a case of, oh, you're in the EVE Echoes, we want all your time here. It is meant as a little bit of an inspiration. I'm sure CCP are very excited about that as well. And then finally, part 4. 1 month of Omega will be over $8 US. Oh, for crying out loud. 3 of the same question. Did no one doing the EVE, the Echoes Bowl look at what questions had been asked first? Come on. 2 Omega, roughly $5 to $15 US with different training speed. Not finally decided yet. Please leave your feedbacks. Again, done a video on this. I know not everyone watches the video, but for crying out loud, how did you not notice that this same question has now been asked 3 times? We had a limited number of questions to ask the devs, and we asked the same one 3 times. Oh, anyway. Interesting point to note there, please leave your feedback. If you think that $5 or $15 is too much, or you don't like that certain things are locked behind different aspects of it, I explained all of this in the monetization video, you know my thoughts, but do get onto the official EVE Echoes Discord, give some feedback to the developers politely. If you sit there and go, oh my god, you guys are absolute idiots and morons, how the then they're not really going to listen to you. If you sit there and say, you know, look, guys, I see what you're trying to do, I don't think it's going to work, this would be my idea, I think this would be a better option, you're much more likely to get listened to. Funny that. The Communist Black Hole. Oh my goodness, great name. How do you plan to fix group mining operations since there are no jet cans? The Orca was near useless as presented in the beta. Debatable. There was no tractor beams to help with gathering resources either. Fair point. Mining is non-functional as currently designed and is bottom stable force that guides the player-driven market. Non-functional? Mining was absolutely functional. Okay, maybe you couldn't dominate all of space with like one small group of friends, but it was definitely functional. It just took a bit of time for you to fill your ore hold and then jump back. But it is nice to know that 1, jet is coming. Jet cans are basically, you can jettison canisters into space. This means if you are running a big mining ship that maybe doesn't have particularly all that much hold space, you can jettison your cans off out to a corporation ally who will pick those up, head back to station and drop those onto the market for you, or just wait and jettison them back to you at a later date. It means you can have a hauler sort of basically hanging around with your mining ships just to carry all of that extra stuff. That's really cool. There are upsides and downsides to jettisoning, which I'm sure we'll cover in future videos, but let me just put it this way. If you're playing EVE Online, don't go up to random canisters and start opening them, hey? Especially in high sec. Now, 2, we've increased the loot range to 10 kilometers and maybe we'd introduce MTU in the future. Okay, I'm sure someone can explain to me what MTU is. I think that's kind of your grouping functionality, but it's nice to see the looting range. Well, the looting range was 10 kilometers in the beta. Of course it was. You have to be within 10 kilometers to loot a ship or loot an asteroid, which makes sense. Is it shorter than that in EVE Online? God, it's been so long since I played EVE Online. I'm sure it was 10. How many star systems are available at launch? Asks Kravik. Around 7,000. Awesome. That's a lot of space to fly in. Morty Smith asks, will they add voice in Spanish to the characters in the future? Now, we only have English voice actors right now, sorry about that, but I've not denied the possibility to have localized voice in the future. Spanish is a good one to add. Obviously, it's one of the most spoken languages in the world. I would be wholeheartedly for them adding that, but again, I understand they're kind of going, well, look, we've got English players and we've got sort of the Chinese vocalizations, and anyone else can kind of read and use subtitles and stuff like that. We intend to add it in the future, but we kind of want to get the game launched. I'm fully behind them on that. I would wholeheartedly hope that, yes, they do add Spanish voices and German voices and Italian, French, you name it. If your language is available in the game, they should have the voiceovers available as well. Obviously, that takes time and money which are away from other things in development, but for me, I think it's all about that accessibility. It's all about having everyone able to play the game together. Anyway, that is the end of part 4. They have said there will be more on the way. Part 1 through 4 we've got already, so part 5 and part 6 should be out in the next couple of days. If there's enough content to cover there in a video, I will do so. If not, I will wait until we have 5, 6, 7, and 8, like I've done here through 1 to 4. Anyway, folks, do let me know your thoughts and your opinions in the comment section below. I hope you don't mind me sort of getting mildly irritated that 3 of the precious question slots we had were the same thing about the monetization. I know it's a big problem, but the devs have communicated this openly from the start. It's a big problem, sorry, a big concern, but it is something the devs have communicated from the start, and I do feel like people who got the opportunity to ask these questions probably should have been looking into these things first and at least working out if they were asking the same question already. And it's kind of a little bit annoying that the developers have kind of put those same questions in 3 times now. But anyway, that does cover everything I wanted to talk about. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Come join the Catskill Cartel Discord. Be more than welcome to have you. We love chatting all things mobile gaming, especially EVE Echoes. Otherwise, happy sailing, folks, and see you in New Eden.